Students, I'm your English teacher and I work in Smart Indian Model School. Today, this is a poem name is Daffodils. Daffodils means light yellow color flowers. So, today I am going to explain this poem. This is lovely poem. Okay, I am going to start this. I wander lonely as a cloud, the flowers on high over and hills when all at once, and I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The poet was traveling aimlessly. There is no aim of the poet. Just like as a cloud, the poet is comparing himself as a cloud. As cloud, there is no aim. It runs here and there. Same situation is of the poet. Poet is running here and there. Valleys of the mountains, Lake District in England. At that time, suddenly he came across a large number of golden daffodils. Beside the lake and under the trees, the flowers were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. The poet directly compares himself to a cloud, as he was wandering without aim, just like the clouds. This is an example of simile. He also used the expression like crowd and host to mean that he saw a large number of daffodils. In the last line, the poet personifies the flowers by saying that they were fluttering like birds or butterflies and dancing. There is also an indication that it was a busy day. So we get an overall idea of the landscapes, which include the valleys and hills, the lake, the tree, the flowers beneath them, and the breezy atmosphere. Second stanza is continues as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their head in sprightly dance. Here is another simile. The flowers are compared to the stars. In these lines, poet compares the flowers with the stars. They stage in a continuous line, just like the stars in a galaxy. Like the Milky Way, moreover, the daffodils were shining. As the stars shining, same daffodils are shining. As they were golden in color and twinkling, as they were fluttering in the breeze, as the stars. This comparison with the stars may have a great implication in indicating that the flowers are heavenly as the stars. The flowers are visible as far as the poet could see along the shoreline of a bay. That's why he uses the phrase never-ending line. Here, continuous and never-ending may also suggest that the flowers left an everlasting impact on him. Wordsworth accepts that the number of flowers by saying 10,000 saw I at a glance means he saw 10,000 daffodils at once. That indicates the poet has never seen so many daffodils at once. He is seeing first time 10,000 daffodils at once. So he is just overjoyed. He is very overjoyed. This type of exaggeration is called hyperbole. The poet also says that the daffodils were tossing their head as they were dancing in happiness. Actually, the poet was amazed at the beauty of the flowers. The poet is amazed after seeing the daffodils, after seeing the beauty of the daffodils. So he found everything around him joyful. All these references of dancing and tossing heads are part of his personification of the flowers. Next stanza is, The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not, but he gave. The flowers left on our lasting impact on him. Wordsworth exaggerated the number of flowers by saying 10,000 saw I at a glance. That indicates that the poet has never seen so many daffodils with at once. If they were dancing in happiness, actually the poet was amazed to see the daffodils together. So he found everything around him joyful. All these references of dancing and joy are part of his life. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not gaze and gaze, but little thought what well the show to be handled. The waves in the way were dancing and looking gleeful at the atmosphere. But the flowers outshone the lively waves in their happiness, had such cheerful companion. Like the daffodils, a poet like Wordsworth cannot help being happy. So he was gazing constantly at the flowers. Gazing means he is gazing at the flowers for some time. Gazing means to look someone for some time. Flowers and enjoying their beauty, and poet is saying the beauty of the daffodils, how they look beautiful. He gazed at them for a long time, forgetting his surrounding. He forgets all over which is happening around him. He gazed at the daffodils, how beautiful they were looking. At that time, he did not think much about the wealth that the flowers had brought to him. The poet realized that later, maybe after a few days, the wealth is the happiness and the pleasant memory that he enjoyed for a long time since the day. Next stanza is full of when on my couch I lie vacant or in pensive mood, the flesh upon an inward eye, which is the place of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure filled and dances with the daffodils. By striking the stanza before, the poet continues his reasoning for saying that the flowers had brought him wealth. He clarifies why the sight of the flowers was so important in his life. Whenever he lies on his bed in a vacant or thoughtful mood, the daffodils flash upon his inner eye. He is on bed, daffodils are not in front of them, but he is feeling how they were beautiful. His imagination. He imagined how they were beautiful. Sometimes what happens, we see anything and we left those things, and sometimes we imagine that it happened in my life, in my past. His imagination. The daffodils have become an everlasting memory for the poet. Whenever he is lonely, so he calls it's the bliss of solitude. Solitude means loneliness, a blessing of staying alone. And whenever he sees the flowers in his imagination, his heart fills with pleasure, and his mind dances with the dancing daffodils. This shows the poet's intensive feeling, inner feelings, what he thinks inside in his heart. The poet has been able to depict the landscape and express his mind so vividly in so simple language and form that really draws one's attention, and that is why this poem has been one of the most read and mentioned subjective poem in the history of English literature. It was the explanation